Welcome to Retail Car Talks for the Saudi Retail Show. I'm Zeenish, your host, and today we have with us Amnah Ajmal from Mastercard. Welcome to the show, Amnah. I'm so excited to have you with us, and I would be delighted if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. This is Amnah Ajmal. I'm the Executive Vice President for Mastercard, looking after 80 countries across Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa for the Segments organization.
Great. You've had an illustrious career in banking and technology. Can you share a bit about your journey and how you came to focus on AI in retail?
Sure. So among the many segments that I look after, retail is one of them, and definitely a very important one, especially I think in the mix of markets that we have in the region, and specifically in GCC, where you see a huge trend towards kind of the digital experience. We are still going to the physical store, but it's a huge shift towards e-commerce. And I think that has been a very interesting journey because all my clients are interested in making sure that they are leveraging the new technologies that make them not only have a bigger share of the market, also to create new markets, to expand the market itself. For example, customers who were always used to only going to the store but now prefer e-commerce, then how do you give them the same store-like experience in an online journey, right? So I think it's fascinating to see the use of new technology, both by the retailers, but as well as by the consumers. 10 years back when I started my career in this region, I remember contactless was not taking off, and there was a big heading in a newspaper which said that, it's a long way for contactless payments to take off in the region. And now if you look at it, forget about contactless payment to a contactless card. Everywhere we go only with our phone, right? So I think the customer adoption has been massive, and the retailers have followed that.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the developments in retail. If you talk about personalization, it's a key trend in retail. How can AI help retailers create more personalized and engaging customer experiences? Like we have heard about this, some AI tools like Retail GPT and all. So how can they help create more personalized and engaging customer experience?
I think that I used to at least think, this is my view, that personalization was very hard with a lot of technologies and physical stores, right? Because I walk into a store and, the assistant doesn't have a lot of idea of who I am. In an online space, it's relatively easy, right? You have my data, and you know who I am, my past purchase history. You can personalize the screen for me, but how do you personalize a physical store, right?
Yeah.
And I think with the technology, a lot of retailers have overcome that showstopper, which was how to give the same personal experience in a physical space that you are able to offer in a digital space. And I think that would be a very interesting mix, because today's consumer, not necessarily that I start a purchase on my mobile, I will finish it there. No. I may start on my mobile device, I may start on my laptop, I actually may finish it in a physical store, I may start in a physical store, I may finish it actually on my device, right? If you take examples in which I think as women probably is more closer to us, and I don't know how many of your speakers are men versus women, so I will go for an example which specifically applies to women, like the cosmetics industry, right? I mean, first it started, I think, with Sephora using augmented reality. So customers can virtually try different makeup products, and then I may choose one and just go to the shop, and instead of spending a lot of time at the shop trying it, I just go and pick it up, or I just order online because now I've tried it, right?
Yeah.
So for AI to analyze my skin tone, as well as take into account my past purchases and preferences, and to suggest me shades of products, whether those are eye shades or I know L'Oreal launched AI diagnostic tool, right? Because for women, if we have to buy foundation, we would usually put it on our hand in a shop, right? But Imagine the AI with AI, all the past data that's already available, skin tone being captured there and then, and the recommendations being made to me, and I can actually see myself in 10 different shades as opposed to just trying on my hat, making my life easier, right? Same for, hair color try on. I mean, in the past, it used to show you a picture in a hair color box. Oh, if your hair color is like this, the new color is going to look like this, right? Now you can see yourself with different hair colors, and you're like, I get this one looks good on me, right?
Yeah.
So I think those kind of technology probably will always be there. I think it's more about bringing the use cases to life, because I think voice-powered AI bot-based commerce has been around for quite a while. But again, that's really not solving for customers' lives easier. The examples that I gave you, they're very powerful because they help customers take time. They help customers actually see something that they could not see earlier without actually doing the purchase, right? So it's so much more powerful and personalized. So I would say that these are great examples, and it's an industry that has revolutionized itself with the help of technology.
Yeah, it really has made life very easy. Can you provide some examples of how AI can improve inventory management, demand forecasting, and supply chain efficiency?
So you asked me about the very interesting one, which is demand forecasting. Trendyol came to this region at massive Turkish e-retailer. When they came to this region, so coming from Turkey, these markets, right? Of course, markets are different. E-commerce platform actually based on a lot of personalization. That's why they're so successful. And they started seeing customers searching for pot sizes which they did not have. They looked at the search and they realized that the family size, for example, would be significantly bigger than the family like they have in Turkey. Like to look at big ones. So they had to actually source suppliers significantly bigger size quickly using the kitchen over here, which they had no idea about, right? So it's a great example of someone entering into a new market, right? In the old days, you will say, do a research, spend like a year. Here it's instant, customers were searching and, the most popular search, it could have gone completely wasted, but they actually took this search and modified their buyers' products. Another example that they were sharing with me was that while in Turkey, summer is summer, so there are only few months of summer, July, it's where people go to the beach.
Yeah.
This part of the world, summer is like 7 months, right? So people were searching for beachwear in November, and they never had beachwear on their website, which was again a very good insight for them. Actually, they could change their inventory and swimwear for those months. So two great examples, which I think tell you really the true power of technology and personalization, especially when in our region there's no one specific big market. Saudi is really, really huge. But other than that, the markets are relatively smaller. So if you have to expand your business, you need to enter into different markets. And you really don't have the time to go and do it the old-fashioned way, like years of customer research. By the time you will actually launch the product, customers would have moved on, right? Such real-time feedback incorporated through AI and machine learning into your demand forecasting, into your supplier orders. It's just so powerful.
Yeah, definitely. It's really intriguing. While AI offers numerous benefits, there are also some challenges in its implementation. What are some of the key challenges retailers face while adopting AI, and how can they overcome that?
I see, well, there are many, but I would pick two. I think one probably, it's not only retailers, but I would say it's common across the industry, is that if a firm is not born in the last 3 years or 4 years, they historically have legacy infrastructure, right? And AI requires consumption of large amount of data, but that data needs to be in certain format, right? If it is fragmented and sitting in silo systems that you operated on, which is the case of legacy infrastructure, it was not designed to leverage AI, So remember, AI is not a new thing. Human beings were doing the same thing. It was taking longer, it was slower, right? Your data scientists mining your data. Now, now that all needs to change. You need to have consistent, complete data that actually can generate meaningful insights, right? So technically for infrastructure at the back end was fragmented. That needs to be cleaned up before you can actually start leveraging your data. That at times can be costly. That at times can require a lot of re-engineering. It may require you to work with fintech, which is kind of an orchestral layer in the middle, to bring these systems in a consistent format. I think that's one big hassle. The systems were not originally designed for the current use and speed of data. Second, I would say is more a mindset as opposed to the technology, because I passionately believe that for any change that human beings have had to go through, the mindset adoption is the most critical one. If you look at when the internet came, people said, oh, it will ruin the next generation. People didn't want internet. When the research was done in the US asking people about mobile phones, they said, no, we of course want the phone only in the house. And that's why America's short-lived cell phone experiment died, because no, phone has to be in the house. You can't give it to me everywhere where I go, right? That's just basic human nature. And I think that plays a huge role, especially if there are already talks going on that your job may be at stake. So I think there's an internal employee mindset challenge that you have to overcome as leaders. And then there's also a customer challenge. While customers are embracing new technology, especially the Gen Z, in a very open way, at the same time, now there's a lot of awareness about how my data is being used. The data privacy comes to play. There's more awareness that, if everything is automated and I'm dealing with this retailer, what if I have to return this product? I mean, would I be interacting with a bot? Would I be lost in the process, or would it work? So these are like fears, I would say, that happen in any change journey. And I think mindset change is the hardest. A technology investment, the first one, is the easiest. So I would say second is the resistance to adoption because of fear.
Yeah. Well, if we talk about ethical considerations, with the increasing use of AI, ethical considerations have become more important. How can retailers ensure that their use of AI is ethical and respects customer privacy?
I think the part that I've been very vocal about, and that actually bothers me the most when it comes to the ethical considerations, is actually the gender bias. So AI is consuming the data on which actually human beings have made decisions, right? Because it's not that before us there were aliens. AI is designed by humans for humans, right? So there are many examples that you would see without naming it. There was once a big retailer that deployed an AI algorithm. And you see that it favored the male shoppers for electronic discounts while offering higher prices to female shoppers based on the historical purchase data, right? It was also women who actually bought fitness equipment in the past who still recommended beauty products, because the idea is that instead of a performance gear or a sports equipment, beauty and cosmetics is for women, right? It was also discrimination in a different way, that men who had bought baby products in the past were not recommended more parenting related items, because parenting is a woman's job primarily, right? So there goes your personalization and recommendation. So I think what is absolutely critical is that human oversight has to be complemented along with your AI algorithms before You deploy it and show the output to the customers. That's why when people talk about jobs going away, it's about really upskilling and using that human intelligence to augment the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is created by us human beings, so we as leaders are responsible for the use of it. And the gender bias it really bothers me a lot, because it has existed for hundreds and hundreds of years in the world that we live in. So imagine just scaling that at a massive speed, because now we have the technology that can scale it in seconds, which we did not have before. It just multiplies problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really my top of mind consideration, and we really need to do a lot more work to make sure that we address it.
Yeah, that's really important. So before we wrap up, this would be my last question to you. And what would you say is the significance of events like the Saudi Retail Show for the retail industry?
It's absolutely important to get the industry leaders together under one roof. I think it's extremely powerful, because not only the industry leaders get a chance to exchange their thoughts and learn about best practices from each other, but it also brings together some new entrants with the established players, right? And everyone wants what the other person doesn't have, or the other entity doesn't have. Big players want agility, and they have the scale. The smaller fintechs, actually, they want the scale, they have the agility, right? So bringing such players under one roof, I think it is extremely powerful what the retail show is doing, because in the future, innovation would not be driven, and it's already the case today, with one player. It would require an ecosystem. It would require collaboration between big players and the fintechs and different other players of the industry. So I think it fosters a culture of collaboration. It brings topic to your mind that in your day-to-day working, you would not just think about them. I always come back from these events and I'm like super inspired about something new that I learned, or something new that I can work on.
I agree.
So
thank you so
for
much.
organizing it.
No, thank you for joining us today, Amna, and thank you for your time. It has been an insightful session with you. Women like you are truly an inspiration. And to our viewers, stay tuned for more episodes.